Now on BBC Two, we join David Vine for tonight's second round action from the Crucible.
Hello again, welcome to our final show from this 8th day at the Crucible in the Embassy World Championship. It's been a big day and a very eventful one, with 3 more players going through to join the young Welshman Lee Walker in the last 8. Walker beat Alan McManus 13-10 last night, you remember. He'll now play Alain Robidoux in the quarter-finals. Robidoux completing a 13-9 victory over Stefan Mazrosis tonight. Remember him? Made a name for himself, knocking out Peter Ebdon with a smile and a few swift pints. Now, well, this afternoon, Darren Morgan came through an emotional final frame decider against the 147 man, Ronnie O'Sullivan. And he'll now meet the champion, Stephen Hendry, in the quarterfinals, who brushed aside, really, the challenge of Mark Williams today, 13-8. Well, tonight's other match features another of these first-round giant killers, 25-year-old Anthony Hamilton from Nottingham, who I'm sure you remember put out Jimmy White 10-9. Well, he now meets the 91 world champion, John Parrott. Parrott had a real struggle in his opening match against the rank outsider Bradley Jones, but only the second year in a row that Parrott had made the early exit after going out last year to fellow Liverpudlian Rod Laura. But Parrott enjoyed this. He came through a tense final frame decider to win 10-9. The following night, Hamilton forced the people's favourite Jimmy White to admit second best in another game that went right to the line. And Hamilton's performance impressed his opponent tonight.
Well, I mean, it's a great result. He was 5-1 down and 8-4 down, so it shows he's got plenty of tenacity. Jimmy's never easy to play anywhere, but particularly here it's difficult because he has such a vociferous crowd support behind him. And he's done very well. He held himself together well in the last frame, and he'll be feeling confident. But, you know, I know that I'm capable of better form. I'll need to show it to win, and, you know, hopefully I will do.
I've only been here a couple of days at the tournament so far, so I don't really feel that involved yet. But obviously this match against John is going to be over a 3-day period, so maybe I'll start to feel a little bit more jaded after this match.
I've been home for a couple of days in between and tried to relax after the 10-9 nail bite I had the first match with Bradley Jones, and just go home and do normal things really, being home with the missus and the kids and you know, getting covered in chocolate and the likes and enjoying myself.
I went into the Jimmy match thinking I was 50-50, and I'm going into the John match thinking the same. I think I've got a 50-50 chance because I'm playing slightly above my average standard, which is hopefully going to bring me up to John's standard when I play against him.
Well, the unassuming Hamilton produced an amazing exhibition of controlled play here tonight to take the first 2 frames. Total score 218 points to Parrott's 9. Well, frame 3 in progress, no score. This is John Parrott, 2-0 down, and hardly potting a ball so far. John Virgo and Clive Everton are describing this one, and like everybody, they've been admiring Hamilton's play.
Does brown rather, block red to middle? It does.
One.
Didn't make a whole lot of difference. Another solid long pot, and the prospect of another substantial contribution.
Was a bit disappointed. He just let the cue ball run through,
8.
well, maybe 4 or 5 inches further than he would have liked. Obviously the red was into the right corner, but he has got an alternative, I believe. Red into the right centre. Just drop it in. Which is done. Nicely on the
9.
pink into the same pocket. As you said a few moments ago, Clive. Looks at the moment he can do anything he wants.
Well, he has played like this quite often on the circuit, but he's never played like this on television.
$15. $16. $23. $24. $31. $32. $39. $40.
Well, John
47.
there sitting, watching, and obviously admiring. I think what will be annoying John, and
48.
he's been there, he's got the experience. In the first frame when Anthony made a 46, he left John Parrott with a great chance to counter-attack, and he missed a black off the spot. He's not potted a ball since.
$53. $54. $59.
Well, we're not saying much because there's not very much to add to what's unfolding in front of us, which is a superb display by 25-year-old Anthony Hamilton.
60.
%99% success rate in potting.
66.
Although it is only the third frame.
67.
And the blue will clinch this frame. Puts him 72 points in front now with only 67 left.
72.
Hamilton picks up his chalk, which he left on the table in certain positions. He has a tendency to knock his chalk out of his pocket with his cue hand on the follow through.
$77. 78. 85. 86. 93. 94.
Just the black now for a well-deserved century break.
Anthony Hamilton, 94, and the frame.
But he is playing well. Breaks are 46, 43, 50, 63 and 94. 3-0.
I'll just add to that, one previous meeting, Parrott won it 5-4 in the European Open a few years ago. Different story now, it's frame 4. Parrott is still looking for a pot, surely now.
A mighty roar from the other table about something or other, but didn't make any difference to Hamilton. Just stroked the red in, as if all was cathedral quiet.
Five. 6.
Does the pink spot?
12.
It does not.
Yes, he's got a choice of 2 reds in this corner. Now, if he could pot this and screw back and cannon the black, he'd be on the pink. Although that's too risky. Well, run it up.
13.
He obviously thought if he catches that red full ball, he'd be on the pink. Obviously is. He's now looking for the next red. I can see a nice easy red, the one near the left corner, but I don't know if he's got the potting angle on the pink. The way he's played so far in this match, you don't expect him to miss. It really is flawless snooker.
19. $20.
Played for the black spot's occupied by the pink, and of course the pink is occupied by another red, so it'd be up on the blue spot, which wouldn't hinder Anthony at all. Black in the middle of the table, would suit him fine.
$27. $28. $35.
That's 300 points without reply. Almost.
$36.
Still a long way to go to the record for unanswered point, which is 463 by Joe Perry from Wisbech against an old favourite, Tony Mio, in a qualifying round for this World Championship.
$43. $44.
So
50.
just the red required, and I wonder if he'll get the century. That his play in these first 4 frames was certainly justified. He broke down on 94 in the last frame. Can he get that magical century
51.
this time?
He's had 76 in his 6-year professional career.
57. $58. 60. 61. 67. 68.
John Parrott has scored 9 points in nearly 4 frames.
Just thinking, Clive, though, he's got one consolation. He's got the best seat in the house.
75. 76.
Yes, dare I crack the old one. That man's a spectator, but he hasn't paid to come in.
82. 83.
Still a long way to go in this match, of course, and just as well for Parrott that there is.
90. 92.
Developing the blue.
$95.
And Hamilton has put together the best 4-frame sequence in this championship.
99.
Yes, I'll second that, Clive. Flawless snooker. And let's hope we can pot this blue for the century.
110.
Breaks of 46 and 43 in the first frame, 50 and 63 in the second, 94 in the third,
Anthony
and
Hamilton.
117 in the fourth. 4-0 to Hamilton. Brilliant.
It was, but after the interval, Parrott decided enough was enough. He came out, he potted some balls and enough to win the 5th frame. And at one stage, Hamilton had scored 414 without reply. As Clive was saying, near the record, in fact, the 4th best. Next frame, number 6, Parrott, no score.
Four. 5.
Little shake of the head from John Parrott there as he walked round. He's just overrun this positional shot slightly. But recovered well.
12. 13.
No spot available for the pink, so it goes as near as possible to its own spot in a direct line between it
19.
and the black spot.
20.
pink mustn't be touching the nearest ball, but must be as near as possible to it.
Twenty-six. Sorry, John, that's 26. 26.
Yes, there was a miscount the shot before. And that pack opener
31.
from John Parrott was slightly misdirected. He wanted to take the cue ball into the middle of the bunch, just glanced off it.
32.
Still batting though.
Brown ball. $36.
Just wanted to cue ball just to bounce a fraction. They're easy these if you just roll them in, which is a little bit tricky. And he played it well. I meant to say that they're easier to pot when you roll them in. But as I say, he's played it well, and there's still a couple of loose reds to go at.
$44.
And what a good response John Parrott is making. Comprehensively outplayed by Anthony Hamilton in the first 4 frames, in which Parrott scored only 9 points. He'd recovered 1 frame
45.
with a break of 66, and he's going very well in this one.
Yes, obviously best of 25.
51.
There's no need to panic. And of course, Anthony Hamilton potted all the balls, so John Parrott couldn't have gone in at the interval thinking, well, I'm playing bad, because we didn't know he was playing, Clive. He never had a chance.
52.
So that was the one thing he didn't have to mull over. But he's playing well now.
$57. 58.
The black and 1 more red. And he'll pull another one back.
$65. 66.
Developing 2 awkward reds.
John Parrott, 66.
That was a kick, but too late to make any difference, probably.
Good forecast, Clive. Parrott 2, Hamilton 4. Well, in the next, they got really bogged down. They decided on a re-rack, still couldn't think about it. Another re-rack, and here, 3rd time lucky perhaps, Parrott 4-0 up after a foul by Hamilton.
4. 5. 12. 13. 20. 21. 28.
John Parrott has really brought his experience to bear this evening.
29.
He spent virtually all the first 4 frames in his chair. As Hamilton went into a 4-0 lead
36.
with a barrage of breaks.
37.
But when his chance did come, he's got himself right back into the match.
44. 45.
He made 2 decisive efforts of 66 in the last 2 frames.
Well, what a tremendous shot that was. Displaying all the cue power we know that
52.
John Parrott has. Look at this, coming off the cushion. All that power running through, opened him nicely. And as you say, Clive, not only getting
53.
back in this match, doing it in style.
For standard, this has been a tremendous session. That's fallen in such a way that Parrott has a chance to win the frame at this visit. Not ideal position from either of the potable reds. A red blocking the black to left corner,
60.
blue not on spot. But he's got nicely above it. Should still be all right.
Yes, I think the slight problem is, for position on the reds, apart from the one that's to the left of the black, you need really to be coming down the left-hand side of the table as we look. And off this pink, he'll be coming down the right-hand side. So the one to the left of the black, he's on it. Good shot.
65. 66.
And That's the frame clincher. 70 points in front now with only 67 left and blue to come.
'71. '72. '79.
Hamilton's turn to keep his chair warm.
80. '87. 88. 'Blue ball. John Parrott, 88, and the frame.
And with that break of 88, John Parrott reduces his deficit to a single frame. 4-0 down. He now trails only 4-3.
Well, I don't know what Parrott did in the interval after hardly potting a ball. Must have had a call from the wife, but it's certainly working. Here's frame 8, no score, Hamilton.
One. Six.
I think he was screwing back for the red just to the left and above the black. I don't know whether the nearer one is potable. Just about.
Seven. Nine.
Well, that was more like the positional players, the first 4 frames.
Ten.
Yes, and unless Hamilton wins this frame, he'll have nothing to show for that opening 4-frame salvo.
'17.
4 frames in which his opponent scored only 9 points.
'18. 25. 26. 33.
Well, not certainly play for this red in the far right corner, but whichever impotted it needs a good angle on the colour to follow. This is the last of the loose reds. Well, we'll know before him whether it's going in.
34.
Overscrewed it. He's not got the angle on the black now.
Forty-one. Anthony Hamilton, 41.
Well, that might not be too bad a safety shot from John Parrott. Anthony Hamilton can hit this cluster of 5, but that's the last thing you wanted to do. You didn't want to open these 5 reds, because if he does make a mistake, of course, even though he's got a 41-point lead, if John Parrott was to get in, that could count for nothing. But I don't think there's any option but to play safe off that cluster of 5.
Well, always the danger. Parrott can get through to this red, it would appear.
Yes, there you see it. We've always said, though, it's never certain when they're in the jaws of the pocket where the cue ball will finish, and he desperately needs position on a colour.
1.
He'll settle for that.
Seven. Eight. 14. $15. 21. 22. 29.
Hamilton knows it's perfectly possible that he's played his last shot of the evening.
30.
At 7 o'clock this evening. Now to John Parrott against Anthony Hamilton. John Parrott, remember, leading 9-7. We'll be going live to their final session in just a moment. But before we do, let's look back to that extraordinary episode last night which saw John Parrott forced to concede a frame. It happened in frame 11. The score at the time was 5-all. Now it's Hamilton to play as we join it, trailing by 10-33, and the whole incident described for you by John Virgo and Clive Everton.
Foul and a miss. Anthony Hamilton, 4.
Yes. Ball back, and Paul Harrison, the referee, has the task of replacing the cue ball in such a way that exactly the same amount of the red is hittable direct as there was before. Parrott very sportingly saying no, it was slightly harder than that. So the cue ball has been put to our right. I don't know why I'm saying this, he says. Well, that's because he plays the game in the right spirit.
Foul and a miss. Anthony Hamilton, 4.
Well, was that the table or was it the queuing?
There's one thing though, Clive. If he doesn't hit it now, he loses the frame.
Let's get it right first. Do you want to just check your ball's right? Yeah. Okay. Must advise you if you play a third miss, you lose the frame. Okay. Look at that. Yeah.
You heard it. Don't miscue, John.
Oh, is that too slow? It's game over.
Foul.
What has he
and a
done?
miss. Anthony Hamilton, 4 at the frame.
Game forfeited for 3 consecutive misses because he could hit the ball direct. Hamilton leads by 6 frames to 5.
And I tell you what, that got everyone talking at the Crucible last night. Well, you had John Virgo commentating on it. John, you've had a chance to watch it another couple of times since. It's this misrule. It just seems to cause so many problems.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, John's in a situation, and you'll never ever tell a professional snooker player that he's got to play the wrong shot. His sole attempt there, John, was to try and leave the ball safe. And we've seen the standard of these players. If you don't get it safe, it could be your last shot anyway. So that's why he's played as he did. And unfortunately, because somebody, in their infinite wisdom a few years ago, decided to do this 3 misses and you're out because you can see all the ball, if you're snookered, you can have as many attempts as you like.
That's the essential unfairness of it, really, isn't it? If he'd been snookered, he could have gone on all night.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously he's giving penalty points away, but because he can hit one red, which wasn't an easy red to play, and in the end he thought the only way he could play it to get it safe was to roll to it dead weight. And then, of course, you're relying on the table, whether there's a finger mark there or a bit of chop. Or, as I said in the commentary, once he's had 2 attempts, even if he miscued, you know, which people
And the cue ball
do
was
from time
awkwardly
to time,
placed, wasn't it? Up
and it
against the
was
cushion.
awkwardly placed, and he loses a frame. And particularly, as Clive Everton said, that John was asking the cue ball to be put in the right place because he plays the game in the correct sporting manner. So he's done everything like that, and then the rule is that he loses the frame. It
doesn't seem right, I have to say. Looking at it again, John, I mean, it does look as if it rolls off towards the end of its travel, doesn't it? I mean, it seems to be a finger mark. The table was checked, I believe, at the interval, and it's completely level. It's not a case that the table's wrongly set up, but it does seem to just roll off at the end here, doesn't it?
Well, as I say, there's finger marks, there's pieces of chalk, you know, when players have played shots, leaves a bit of powder on the table. Somebody's got to run over something, and that can affect the roll of the ball. People can say, well, why didn't you just hit it hard? But as I say, the danger is then, and it could have been your last shot anyway. So, in other words, what they're doing is penalising players for playing the right shot. And that can't be right somehow. They've got to, I think, address the problem. And the misrule as it stands can make the game a joke, really. I mean, that could have been deciding frame of the World Championship. And all them people sat there and saying, well, wait a minute, haven't they done us out of watching a frame of snooker?
We should also just briefly make the point that it only applies at this level in the professional game. It's not a club rule.
No, well, I have people in the snooker club saying, oh, he's missed the ball 3 times, so I have the game. I said, well, not really, you know, it's supposed to be having a game of snooker here. You know, the rules go too far sometimes.
All right, thank you, John. And we should, of course, point out that John Parrott did come out and win the next 4 frames in a row, so it didn't upset him too much. He leads 9-7, of course. They're about to restart. Let's just take a look at the 2 players before we go out live into the arena here. There is JP, as he's known. He's reached 3 semi-finals this year and lost the European Open final to John Higgins. A proud record here at the Embassy Championship of the World. His 14th year. He's only ever once lost in the first round, incidentally. That was 12 months ago to Rod Lawler. And Anthony Hamilton, very promising young 25-year-old from Nottingham, who's not yet been beyond the last 16 of a ranking tournament, but of course made all the headlines with his thrilling late-night victory over Jimmy White in round 1. So 9-7 it is then. This is the final session of their match. They're all waiting for us out in the arena, including MC Alan Hughes.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome a brilliant up-and-coming young star, now making his mark at top level, and his first round win over Jimmy White assures him of a top 16 place next season. Ladies and gentlemen, back into round 2. Will you welcome, please, from Nottingham, the Robin Hood of snooker, Anthony Hamilton. And Anthony's opponent this afternoon, a former world champion with a powerhouse game that has seen him to so many memorable victories, and he gives us so much pleasure now on Question of Sport. Ladies and gentlemen, it's always good to welcome the 1991 United Kingdom and Embassy world champion, John Parrott.
John Parrott, obviously the rich that the Robin Hood of snooker is going to try to take from this afternoon. Let's immediately join our commentators for this one, Dean O'Kane and Dennis Taylor.
Good afternoon, Dougie. Good afternoon, everyone. Smiles all around with Alan Hughes introducing...
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. 17th frame, John Parrott to break.
Introducing Anthony Hamilton as the Robin Hood of snooker. So that's the first time he's been introduced as that. didn't think Robin Hood had a little beard and moustache, but maybe one of them did. Anyway, it's down to the serious stuff. Very important opening frame for Anthony Hamilton.
Well, he's certainly been cueing as straight as an arrow during the World Championships. And that's a lovely touch on the brown.
And after that frame that John gave away with the 3 misses, he did remarkably well to lead 9-6, but Anthony did take the last frame of the session, so that was a nice little nudge off the brown to get in behind the yellow. And with the reds all over the table, John Parrott got to be extra careful here. The one he's looking at there, if he doesn't get this right, he'll leave one for the other corner pocket. The one near the left corner's available, so he'll have to be careful.
One.
Anthony Hamilton proved in his previous round when defeating Jimmy White 10 frames to 9 that he's a pretty good player under pressure.
Six.
He's got a choice of reds. The one in the left corner, he would need the rest. Could leave him on the pink. I think the pink's available for the right corner, but as you can see, the black's tied up at present.
Seven.
If the pink doesn't spot, it goes on the brown.
13. $14.
19. $20. 25. 26.
There's no easy way yet to try and bring the black into play, so Anthony having to concentrate on the blue. And he's just having a little think about what he can do with those three reds that are around the black. Now, if he can get to the red that's to the right of the black to drop that
31.
in, the black's available into the opposite corner pocket, and that would really open things up.
$32.
It's now turning into an excellent opportunity for Anthony.
$39. 40.
'This frame's very important for Anthony to close the gap. Did well to win the last frame yesterday.
Yes, that last frame of
47.
last evening's session, he made breaks of 30 and 59. So he's starting off where he left off.
$48.
Just a little bit short of pace this time, but no problem. He'll have to go for the blue though.
55. 56.
'Slice of good fortune. That was a very careless miss on the blue. That was just a lapse
61.
of concentration. But to fluke it into the corner pocket, that was quite something.
$62.
Yes, I bet John thought he had a chance to get right back into this frame, but it's gone.
$69. 70. 77. 78.
Big break on for Anthony here. 1-3-4, I think, if he pots the blue and 3 blacks with 3 reds, then all the colours. That's perfectly played. We'll just stun
83.
him around the back of the black for the black into the same pocket as this red.
84. 91.
There you have the sequence. That's the possible break.
92. 99. 107.
A nice little nudge in the pink, but it's made the green more awkward now. It's just available into the same pocket that he's taking the yellow.
$109. 112. 116. 121.
'That was a magnificent break of 121. It takes the opening frame for Anthony Hamilton, and he narrows the gap to just 1 behind at 9 frames to 8. And what a very important opening frame for Anthony Hamilton. John Parrott leading 9-7. And if John had have taken that first frame, he's the type of player that can just run riot, and well, Anthony stopped the rot there, and what a way to do it. Magnificent 121 break. That's 77 centuries that Anthony Hamilton has made now in his short career. He's been a professional for some 6 years, and he does knock in some superb breaks. So this one looks like it could go all the way. Who's your money on, Dean?
Well, it's a pretty close call. Anthony's already proven he's up to the big occasion. Tremendous win over the Whirlwind in the first round. A tough call.
Anthony Hamilton to break.
Very even match indeed.
The first frame took just over 14 minutes. John Parrott didn't have an opportunity to take a pot on. Well, that was a great pot, because he couldn't find a path back down the table. And he's got one now. Just play off the green.
John Parrott, 1.
Doesn't want to send a red towards the left corner when playing the safety shot. Well, he has, and I think we'll see John take this on. Quite close to the baulk cushion though, and that makes the pot very difficult.
Well, he was off and walking round the table as soon as he was halfway up the table with the cue ball. He knew he hit that one perfectly.
Yes, I think his initial long red gave him the confidence to go for that second one.
Eight. 9. 16. 16.
Well, he's let that one get away. He's usually so good from on the cushion or just off the cushion. He does cue very well at that particular type of shot. Consolation as he didn't leave the red.
Target area for the safety is directly behind the yellow on its spot. Not only a safety, but a snooker.
Foul and a miss. Anthony Hamilton, 6.
John Parrott, I'm sure, had enough of the misses last evening, but this time he snookered so he can have as many goes as he wants.
Foul and a miss. Anthony Hamilton, 4.
No real problem for John here because he can't leave anything on. It's just a matter. He doesn't want to go into the reds with too much pace. I think he was having a little joke with the referee. Yeah, just just checking that he won't lose the frame this time.
Second ball.
Balls are just going a little bit awkward. Black's tied up, the pink's tied up, so there's no value in taking that difficult red that you're looking at into the right corner. Well, he's going to take it on, but he's going to have to play with a lot of screw to get back towards the blue and green. He got one part of the shot right. He got the pot, but didn't quite get the position. Here's the pot coming up, but wanted a little bit more screw on the cue ball than the blue would have been available to the right centre.
Yellow ball. Anthony Hamilton, 1.
Well, Anthony was trying to block off the left-hand side of the table with that safety shot. I think he's done that pretty successfully. So this is a tough one for John Parrott.
One.
Well, he's got a choice of 3 colours. He's got the brown, he's got the green and the blue. It's just whichever one gets him nicely onto a red.
Blue ball.
But just a couple of shots ago, the pink was tied up, but it's in the open now. It's available into the right
6.
corner. and also the left centre.
Seven.
As you can see, the pink's available in the same pocket, but no angle this time to get onto it, so you'll have to come back towards the blue again. He didn't
Anthony
cue
Hamilton,
that one
12.
very well, just came across the shot slightly. That was the reason for the missed pot.
One. Four. Five.
I think John will be hoping that the red just above the pink covers the pink spot. If it does, it'll go on the black spot, and that'll help him enormously.
John Parrott, 5.
Well, I don't know if it was a kick. No indication from John that it was.
Yes, and that's the type of shot for John to miss. Certainly won't do his confidence a great deal of good.
One. Seven. Eight.
Got a great temperament for the game of
14.
snooker, Anthony Hamilton. And whether he's winning or losing, he always keeps a very relaxed expression.
15. $21. 22.
Looking for an angle on the pink to cannon onto one of those two reds. Develop the game somehow. Requires a heavy stun if he's to do it, but may go down for the one loose red. Deep screw, little bit of left-hand side.
28.
So if he drops the red into the left centre, he'll need a colour and a good angle on it to develop those two reds by the black.
Anthony Hamilton, 28.
Well, he's let that one slip away. And once again, he looks pretty relaxed, even though he missed a shot that he normally would knock in. So there's a chance, but quite a slim one at present for John Parrott. But if he runs far enough here, just past, yes, he's got a chance to pot the blue. He'll have to run through with lots of side to come off the side cushion here. And that's not bad. And the Crucible crowd enjoyed that one. The crowd enjoyed that one.
Seven.
Still not straightforward for John. We've got the yellow on the side cushion, which is going to make it difficult.
Thirteen.
Now he's got to decide whether to try and pot the red and leave an angle on a colour to move the yellow, or to leave an angle just to drop in behind it.
14.
Well, he can please himself now. He's got the perfect angle on the brown to try and disturb the yellow. And he's got the perfect angle on the brown just to drop in behind it. That's how he feels.
The difficulty with this shot being fairly straight is that it's quite difficult to get the cue ball out for the green.
20.
Crucial shot coming up. Difficult pot.
$23. $27.
Well, blue and pink needed. Does he leave himself the long pink, or does he take the cue ball all round the table for better position?
$32.
That's an excellent shot from John Parrott. In goes the pink. John Parrott gets a frame back. He now leads 10 frames to 8.
Yes, that break surely a confidence builder for John Parrott. There really is anybody's match at this stage. Let's just remind you as we talk about the quarter-finals of the state of play in this, the second round, not yet over of course. Stephen Hendry we saw go through, Darren Morgan in that wonderful match against Ronnie O'Sullivan on Saturday morning. James Watana 10-6 up on Stephen Lee, they'll finish tonight. John Parrott, as we saw, now going 10-8 in front of Anthony Hamilton. Alain Robidoux last night beat Stefan Masrosas by 13 frames to 9. And Alan McManus, the number 6 seed, went out at the hands of Lee Walker of Wales, 13-10. And then in a quite stunning performance last night, Ken Doherty played brilliantly to beat Steve Davis 13-3. Steve Davis's heaviest defeat at the Crucible. In fact, you have to go back to 1982 when he lost 10-1 to Tony Knowles in the first defence of his title to find such a heavy defeat for the 6 times champion. And John Higgins over on the other table this afternoon, beginning the session 6-2 up on Dominic Dale. This is the day, as we said, when the quarter-final lineup will be finally decided, and that last 8 stage gets underway tomorrow morning. John, impressions so far on Parrott against Hamilton?
Well, I think as Dennis and Dean said, it's a close one, and it's important to win frames like John did then. I mean, psychologically, I mean, Anthony looked as though he had it in the bag. John made a terrific clearance, and those are the type of frames, I think we're going to see a few of those, and it's who can get in and just hold his nerve and pinch those frames.
Yeah. Would you agree with me when I say it's anybody's game so far?
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's what's making both players miss a little bit, because they know how well each other's playing if they're given the chance, and it puts a bit of pressure when you're at the table.
Yeah, and we saw, of course, in the first round, John Parrott struggling a little against Bradley Jones, and Anthony coming through against Jimmy, 10-9, which must have done his confidence a lot of good to beat Jimmy White.
Well, I mean, you play someone like Jimmy, I mean, you know, we've all had it from Stephen Hendry to everybody. You know, everybody wants Jimmy to win, and you're playing with this antagonistic atmosphere, and he came through that, and that'll stand him in good stead, as you say.
Well, let's get back underway again. Both players back at the table. So here we are. It's frame 19, 10-8 Parrott leads. Let's rejoin Dean and Dennis.
Yes, Anthony just leaving the arena there for a few seconds, probably just to compose himself, because it was a careless red that he missed into the middle pocket, but he didn't think John would win the frame from it because there was 2 reds tied up on the top cushion. And that was a long way off for Anthony, who's been so good with his long potting in this match so far.
One. Six. Seven.
He's got probably a bit too much of an angle just to drop the black in dead weight. Nice little stun screw to hold position.
14. $15.
And now his choice is to play for one of the 2 loose reds or to develop some other ones. Went about it the positive way.
22.
And John is a player who often gets stronger in the latter stages of a match. So are we going to see that here?
23. $30. 31.
Fairly straight on the black, but he's got a lot of cue power, so he can just screw back off the cushion there. I left it a little bit short.
38. 39.
That was the problem with being short on the positional side of the last stroke. It's made things a little bit more difficult for him now. And the next shot will show us just how well John Parrott is cueing.
44.
Almost straight, so got to push the cue through perfectly straight.
John Parrott, 44.
Well, he hasn't got away with it either. Although he's 44 points in front, he'll be a little bit concerned because he knows if Anthony Hamilton can pot this red, get a nice angle on the blue, he could open the remainder of the reds up.
One.
Looks to have that good angle. And perhaps the ideal split would be if he cannoned straight into the pink. Although there's a two cushion way of splitting the pack two.
Six. Seven.
That was an excellent pot because he knew had he have not knocked that one in, he was leaving a straightforward one into the left corner for John. That's the one that he's going to be taking now.
12.
Anthony was checking to see if a red goes for that centre pocket near where he's standing. But he's going to have to split the red sooner or
13.
later.
Well, they got the
20.
split on the reds perfectly, but there's only one available, the one that's above the cue ball in pink. It's on to the left. centre pocket, but they're delicate little shots, these.
$21.
He was just a little bit limited with the cue ball there. He's back in prime position now. That was an excellent recovery there.
26. $27.
And the red to the right corner will open
34.
up the other two to the left corner, or indeed the right centre.
$35.
Well, under normal circumstances, this would be straightforward, but
41.
you're playing in the World Championships. It's a different matter.
42.
But at this stage, it's all about concentration.
Won't be happy with that
49.
though.
Yes, he'll be
Anthony
very
Hamilton,
disappointed. He let the
49.
position slip away just a shot ago. And this a very big frame for Anthony. Well, I'm not quite sure what happened there. No indication of a kick. Was that just a complete mishit? Certainly missed the pot by a long way.
Yes, I think there's certainly a bit of atmosphere out there today.
Yes, I think you're right, Dean. A little bit of tension creeping in at this vital stage, this 19th frame. He doesn't want to go 3 behind, but he's going to be in a spot of bother after this next shot. snooker to escape from, but he's got to be extra careful what he does with the reds.
Foul and a miss. John Parrott.
Miscalled. And I'm just wondering if the middle pocket isn't in the way of Anthony just escaping by nestling onto the reds. If he was to force the shot off the side cushion, he could make the angle. But he's got to get very close to the bottom knuckle of that left centre pocket to be able to play the shot he's attempting.
And I think the cushions are sliding a bit. That means the angle that the cue ball strikes the cushion, the return angle is wider than normal. So that makes this shot even more complicated.
Well, he feels that, I'm sure, and he was looking at a more difficult route. He was debating whether to go twice across the table to make the angle. He'll probably give it one more try.
It's been a tremendous frame so far. If you're watching on BBC One, you'll have seen it. We continue now here on BBC Two. Parrott leading 54-49 against this young Anthony Hamilton from Nottingham, who's really impressed us. This is Parrott. Not so good red. And the commentators on this, Dean O'Kane and Dennis Taylor.
Well, just as you join us, it looks as if John Parrott's going to clinch the frame. We had a few safety exchanges, and John got in but missed the final red, left a chance for Anthony, and he just missed the red as you joined us.
8.
So just brown required.
$15. $20. $26 and the frame.
Yes, that was an excellent clearance from John Parrott, and he opens up the gap to 11 frames to 8. And that was such an important frame, well, for both players. John Parrott has done remarkably well when you consider that his opponent kicked off this session with a break of 121. It looked as if Anthony was going to start buzzing, but John managed to stop the rot. You never see a lot of emotion from Anthony. You never know whether he's winning or losing. He's got a great temperament, but I'm sure that last frame will affect him. He knows his back's right against the wall now. Can't afford many more mistakes. And there you see the Crucible Theatre, one of the finest venues we've ever had in the game of snooker. A little bit of distraction when we have the two-table situation, but the players cope with that. When you get down to the semi-final, and it's a one-table situation, then there's none better anywhere in the world.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. 20th frame, Anthony Hamilton to break. Quietly, please, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
John's knocked in a few of those today, so he would have considered that one a possible chance.
One. Eight. Nine.
Just slightly out of position.
16.
Can still pop the red, but it's just a little more difficult to get onto a colour nicely.
$17. Anthony Hamilton, 17.
Yes, he hasn't missed many of those, but that must be down to the circumstances. Terrific amount of pressure on Anthony now. I think that previous frame, the fact that John Parrott led 44-0, and Anthony had a 49 break and should have went on to have clinched the frame, just one little careless positional shot. That all preys on your mind. He's got quite a bit to do with the cue ball here, because the pink and black are available, but not that easy. Well, he's done extremely well with using the extension there. In fact, it looks as if he's finished on both pink and black.
Pink ball. Seven.
Straight on the red to the centre means that he can't get on the blue as he would like to. That's why John was looking at the black there.
Eight.
I think it's blue to the centre and in and out of bulk.
Yes, just a little bit too much
13.
right-hand side on the cue ball. Meant that it caught the brown. Few reds available there, but they're all very risky. He's trying to see if he can take one as a shot to nothing, make sure he gets back down the table. Well, that's the shot of a very confident player. But the little shake of the head tells you that he's not in the ideal position. Whichever colour he takes is a little bit awkward.
Bramble.
Well,
John Parrott,
he'd be absolutely
18.
disgusted with that shot. And he's done that just a couple of times. He started to look so fluent, and then for no apparent reason, lapse of concentration. But he's left nothing. He's been very fortunate. The red that he missed, the green's blocking the path for that one. So he's perfectly safe. Gonna have to give this one a little bit of thought, especially with the reds placed as they are. Doesn't look to be one that he can just play to land on. If he tries to get to the one there near the left corner pocket, he will leave the one that's to the right of the pink on. So he's going to need a bit of good fortune here. He'd like to be able to play on the red that's nearest the top cushion. He's trying to sort an angle out. That would be twice across the table. That's about the only shot he has on.
Touching ball.
What judgment? Touching ball. And the way it's finished on that red, it means that this one's a little bit awkward to the right of the pink. Well, that was interesting. John's hand on the side of the table there, the wooden part of the table. A little bit of tension out there, a little bit of perspiration. Excellent shot.
1.
Pink will go back onto its own spot when potted, so that slightly ties things up for John. Just has to travel further down the table to get onto a red.
Seven. 8.
There are quite a few reds that go for... Oh, well, that was very unfortunate. I was going to say either corner pockets.
I think that was one of the worst kicks I've ever seen.
13.
Just watch the cue ball. Well, it jumped right up in the air.
And what certainly was a frame-winning opportunity perhaps has slipped by now. This is a tough one he's taking on. Deep screw with the rest. Tough shot.
John Parrott, 13.
Yes, you don't mind it when you play a bad shot, but when you get a kick like that and it's out of your control, it's a bit disappointing.
One.
Mid-session interval coming up after this frame. No need for me to
8.
tell you how important this one is.
Nine.
Well, I think quite simply it's a frame that Anthony must win.
Sixteen. 17.
And I think he may need that difficult red on the right side cushion. So there's a lot of work to do in this frame yet.
And there's even more now after that shot. Anthony
24.
didn't get into that at all. He played that with a lot of reverse screw, and that was left-hand side to leave the red into the left corner pocket. But as you can see, completely out of position. So he wants to try and get down behind that brown ball if he can.
Anthony Hamilton, 24.
There is a shot on for Anthony, but he's reluctant to take it. He could double the red that's to the right of the blue, back up the table and try and get in behind the brown again. But it's the red that's near the left corner pocket that's causing him a problem with that shot. He's gone the other side and he's played it well because the blue is blocking the path through for that red.
Has left on a shot to nothing. The one red above the pink pots into the left corner, taking the cue ball back down to a similar position.
We sit quietly, please, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Well, the one he's taking on, there's just a very slight bit of the red sticking out, the one behind the black. Well, he must have good eyesight to play a shot like that. And has he left a path through, though, to that red for the left corner? Yes, it looks as if John can take this on, and he would automatically finish on the black. Spotted something on the white ball. I played an exhibition in Aldershot and had the ball cleaned, and I couldn't believe the referee used his two front teeth, took them out and marked the white with it. Wouldn't be allowed to do that at the Crucible.
Great pot under pressure. But John will still need to develop that safe red near the left side cushion.
8. Nine. Sixteen. 17.
And it looks as if he's left a slight angle and might just be enough to screw back and move that last red. Not quite.
24.
There's still plenty to play for in this frame. And the last two frames have been very closely fought, and it's John Parrott who's taken both of those.
John Parrott, 24.
And what a clever shot that one is.
Well, this one's just a matter of trying to get out of the snooker and relying on a little bit of good fortune. There's no shot on, so just hope to make contact with the red and a little bit of good luck just to knock it safe. Well, Anthony held his hand up to apologise, but I think he deserves a little bit of run of the ball.
One.
Judged that one well.
Six.
Absolutely spot on.
Eight.
Each green, brown, blue and pink.
11. $15. $20.
Great performance from Anthony Hamilton. He'll be delighted with taking that frame. He closes the gap.
The best three. All you've got to do is try and match the commentator's choice of the top three. Frame, the best of 25, 13 the target. So Parrott needs two more, but Hamilton is playing very, very well indeed. The man who knocked Jimmy White out of the championship. Commentators Dean O'Kane and Dennis Taylor. I bet he played in Junior Pop Black.
Didn't quite make it, David. But I'll tell you what I did do. In 1984, I played John Parrott in his first ever Embassy World Championships, and I managed to beat him 13-11. Things are a little bit awkward with the red going up into the balk area.
John Parrott was not in junior pot black the year that I managed to play in it, my first year over from New Zealand in '81. And that, I think, was the first year of junior pot black, won by a young man called Dean Reynolds. Some of you may have heard of Dean.
Yes, we might reach a stalemate in this frame, unless something can be done about that red. That's, well, there's two reds up the other end now. There's one available, so there's very little either player can do here. Well, that's opened a few of the reds up, so that's sorted the bit of a problem out. Just looked away and discussed there, Anthony. He knew he didn't get the screw on the cue ball that he required. Wanted to take it back onto the top cushion. And there's a opportunity for John. Not a straightforward one, but he has a red into the left corner pocket. And he would finish on the black.
Well, there's a similar shot on for Anthony. The red that's closest to the pink, just to the right of it, goes for the left corner. Again, screwing right back for the black.
One.
There's a very generous round of applause coming from the other side of the screen. Must have been something exciting happening there, but Anthony still got 100% concentration. And that's the secret here at the Crucible, to keep that concentration and forget what's happening next door. You couldn't ask for the balls to be
15.
Much better than this. Great opportunity for Anthony.
Yes, and it's unusual to see no two reds are actually touching each other on the table at the moment.
16.
Highly unusual for such an early part of a frame.
$21. 22. 29. 30. 37. 38. 44. 45.
Another half century for Anthony
51.
Hamilton. He's had 5 of those. That's the 2 centuries.
52.
But this one coming at just the right time for Anthony Hamilton.
$58. 59.
'John will be getting himself ready, I feel, for the next frame. He knows that Anthony should finish this one off. We're going to
65.
need a colour with this red, and then the frame would be safe.
$66.
'He started this afternoon session with a magnificent break of 121.
73.
And he's starting this
74.
session after the mid-session interval the same way.
'81. '82. '89.
Just having the cue ball clean, so he wants to make as many as possible here.
'90.
Played for the more difficult red. He's a little
94.
bit straight, so he's got to get a little bit of work on the cue ball to get out for a colour.
'95. '98. '99.
This has been a magnificent effort from Anthony Hamilton. Crowd at the Crucible always enjoy a century break. And that's the 24th
104.
century this year at the Crucible Theatre. The record number was 48 centuries, and that was last year.
107. 111. 116. 122.
'What a brilliant break from Anthony Hamilton. That's another century for him. He closes the gap. He's just one away now at 11-10.
Yeah, the boy from Nottingham, the Sherwood Forest snooker player. He's living up to his reputation here, John Virgo, because we've always known him as a great break builder when we saw him first on television. He hadn't been doing it so much on television. Everybody says in the matches away he does it.
Yeah, well, everybody, I mean, I remember him playing in his first year, you know, very impressed with him. I think it just takes people a little bit longer to acclimatise. There is a lot of pressure playing on television, and it is a different type of game. There are a lot of distractions, but he's now beginning to show his worth, and I think that's about his 78, 79 century break, and he's been a pro 6 years, so that's not a bad average.
And 3 in this match against John Parrott. He got that lovely one when he went 4-0 up, that amazing session. When he just didn't do anything wrong, did he? I mean, Parrott just sat there, couldn't do anything.
Yeah, well, that's when John Parrott shown his experience and slowed it down and made a few scrappy frames. And Anthony really then shown his lack of experience. But what he's proven is what he proved against Jimmy White. He was 8-4 down against Jimmy White, kept to his game plan, kept his technique, and he's doing that now. And one frame behind, anything could happen.
You were saying lack of experience. There was one occasion in the match where Parrott asked for a second re-rack. I think you were saying at the time, perhaps Hamilton said, no, I'm quite happy.
Yeah, well, he was 4-2 in front, and John was getting starting to get his cue arm going, and it was 4-2, and John kept asking him for re-racks, and Anthony went, yeah, all right then.
Good.
Me personally, I'd have just said, right, well, I'm 4-2 in front, let's slow it down.
Yeah, but you're a hard man.
Well, maybe a bit more experience than Anthony, let's put it that way.
Okay, well, never mind the experience. Here he is, and there's only one frame in it. 11 to Parrott, 10 to Hamilton, 13, of course, the target, playing to a finish here this afternoon. Just to remind you, whoever does win this plays either James Watanabe or young Stephen Lee, 10-6 to Watanabe at the moment, and they play to a finish here tonight. Well, what a good match this is.
Still looks as cool as anyone here in the Crucible Theatre. But this is a pretty cool customer as well when the chips are down. He's done it all.
One.
And he still is favourite for this match, leading 11-10.
John Parrott, 1.
Looks as though John has blocked off the left-hand side of the reds.
Might be worth the risk, taking the one on to the right corner by the green. It's the only red he could leave if he did miss it. If it was to go in, give himself a good chance. Well, he did have a go at the pot, but it was a long way off. It's just the one red that Anthony can possibly play as a shot to nothing. Can't get through to that one. There's one to the left of the bunch of reds, but I think he'll just be concentrating on getting a good cue ball. Anthony can get back down the table. It's just a little bit tricky. He doesn't want too thick a contact on the red to the left of the pink, otherwise he would go near the corner pocket with the cue ball. So he's going to the other side of the table.
It was important for John to block the path to the red near the bulk line. He's successfully done that, with the green and the brown there.
What a cracking pot that was from Anthony Hamilton. Pulled a little gem out there. Very awkward cueing. Superb. He was a little bit unlucky with the cannon onto the blue. It's left both the blue and yellow awkward. Might be
6.
okay. Looks as if there's a red that'll pass the blue into the corner. And if he just plays a little screw back onto the other, he'd leave the pink into the right centre. Well, he's going to take it into the right centre, the red.
Seven. Twelve. Thirteen.
Super shot again from Anthony Hamilton. He's opened all
19.
those 5 reds up.
Twenty. $26.
The black doesn't pot to the right corner, so Anthony will just be concentrating on the pink for a wee while.
27. $33. 34.
It's just a little more awkward now. I don't think the two reds are available into the right corner. Possibly one of them is, but he's fairly straight on the pink. Just got a little bit of an angle, so he should be okay. And that's perfect, because that opens the black
40.
up now. Straightforward shot to pot this red and leave a nice easy black.
$41. $48. $49.
This man certainly scores some points. Very fluent
55.
in amongst the balls. In fact, when he was 11-9 down, I think he'd actually outscored John Parrott, even though he'd won 2 frames less.
56.
He's going to need one more red after potting the pink to leave John Parrott needing a snooker. John Parrott, you just sit and admire Anthony Hamilton. He hasn't had a chance for 2 frames.
$63.
There's just a possible 59 on the table. 62 in front.
$68. Anthony Hamilton, 68.
John Parrott tapping the table in acknowledgement of that effort, and the screen's just gone up in the Crucible Theatre, so the players have got the full attention. And still quite a sizable crowd, almost full here this afternoon. And quite rightly John Parrott carrying on, because he hasn't had a shot at anything for 2 frames.
1.
Well, I think John Parrott might concede now that that red disappeared.
Anthony Hamilton 1.
Yes, in
and
fact
a frame.
he has conceded, so both players taking a little interval. What a great performance from Anthony Hamilton, and what a match we have. We're all square, 11 frames each.
Well, not a planned interval, it'll only be a short one. You can't blame them with this match reaching the crucial stage. Here he is.
Right middle.
1. Eight. Nine.
Well, John took the opportunity to bring quite a few reds into play. I think he was hoping to go up towards the blue. There was just a little cannon that prevented that. It's quite a difficult black that he's looking at. And this is a pressure pot if ever there was one.
And considering he only potted one
16.
ball in the previous 2 frames, that makes that black even better.
$17.
Yes, he got a terrible contact there, but at least it didn't throw the red ball offline. Still managed the pot, so.
$22. 23. 30.
As you can see there, he hasn't got the angle to pot the red and just run through for the black. It's going to cannon on the other one, so change of plan, and blue or pink.
31. 36. 37.
Could play a cannon into the pink or reds this time. Just going into reds to the right of the pink is perfect.
42.
He played that too. Knew he'd be sending a red towards the right corner.
$43.
There's a delicate little shot on, but he doesn't have to play it. He's got 4 loose reds, but if he could cannon onto the left of the 4 reds. Well, he's gone the other side, but same result. And there's John's breaks. No century, but very consistent. 7 breaks over 50 and 7 over 30. This is the sign of a true champion, though. Anthony Hamilton asked the question and won 3 frames in a row. And John Parrott, the great player he is, has responded to Anthony's onslaught.
Didn't play for this red. Played for one to the opposite corner pocket.
57.
So, good recovery. Needs another red in colour after this black. What a tremendous standard of play we're seeing in the latter part of this match.
That's the one that John wanted.
72.
And all Anthony can do is sit and admire his opponent.
73. $79. 80. 85. 86.
'As we mentioned earlier, John hasn't had a century in this match. He had a 102 break in his
92.
close encounter with Bradley Jones.
93. 100.
Looks good.
106. 108. 111. 115. 120.
John has really raised his game at a crucial juncture in this match.
126. 130.
What a magnificent clearance from John Parrott. He has stopped the onslaught. He goes back into the lead, 12 frames to 11.
Eight. 9.
It's been a magnificent match, this. We've had everything. We've had 3 centuries from Anthony, who's just getting himself ready to leave the arena. We've had a magnificent break of 133 from John Parrott when it was needed. It was just a pity there had to be a loser in this one.
14. 15.
'John has just managed to raise his game at exactly the right time.
22.
And that's the sign of a great player.
He's left the red short, but that doesn't matter. Anthony Hamilton has come forward. Both players have a little chat. It was a fantastic match, but John Parrott showing his true grit, applauding Anthony Hamilton. He goes through. Fabulous win for John.
400.